Long ago, there was a small village surrounded by a deep jungle. The villagers lived happily, planting crops, raising animals, and telling stories by the fire. But one day, everything changed. From the dark jungle came a terrible monster. It had sharp teeth, glowing red eyes, and claws that could cut trees like paper. The villagers called it the Shadow Beast. Every night, it came to the village, stealing their food and destroying their homes. The people were scared and didn't know what to do. In this village lived a brave girl named Ayo. She was just 16 years old, but was known for her courage. Ayo was not afraid of anything. She loved climbing trees, exploring the jungle, and helping her people. When the Shadow Beast started attacking, Ayo knew she had to do something. One evening, the village elders held a meeting. They sat around a big fire, their faces filled with worry. "We cannot fight this monster," said one elder. "It is too strong," said another. "But if we do nothing, the village will be destroyed," cried a farmer. Ayo stood up. "I will fight the Shadow Beast," she said boldly. The villagers gasped. "No, Ayo," her mother said. "It is too dangerous." But Ayo was determined. "If we don't fight, the beast will never stop. I will go into the jungle and find a way to stop it." The villagers tried to stop her, but Ayo had made up her mind. She packed a small bag with a knife, some food, and a torch. She also carried her lucky bracelet, which her father had given her before he passed away. As the sun set, Ayo left the village and stepped into the dark jungle. The trees were tall, and their branches blocked the moonlight. Strange sounds filled the air, birds calling, leaves rustling, and distant growls. But Ayo was not afraid. She walked for hours, her torch lighting the way. Suddenly she heard a loud roar. It was the Shadow Beast. The sound made her heart race, but she kept moving. After some time, she reached a small clearing. In the middle was a large cave. The ground around it was covered in bones and claw marks. "This must be the beast's home," Ayo whispered to herself. She hid behind a tree and watched the cave. The beast came out. It was even more terrifying than she had imagined. Its fur was black as night, and its teeth shone in the moonlight. Ayo took a deep breath. She had to think of a plan. Suddenly, she noticed something strange. The beast seemed to be limping. One of its legs was hurt. "Maybe that's why it attacks our village," Ayo thought. "It can't hunt in the jungle." Ayo decided to wait until the beast went back into the cave. Then, she would get a closer look. She stayed hidden, her heart pounding. Ayo stayed hidden behind the tree, watching the Shadow Beast. The beast growled softly as it limped back into its cave. Ayo's mind raced. She now understood the creature was in pain, but it was still dangerous. She needed a plan to protect her village. When the beast disappeared inside, Ayo crept closer. The air was thick, and her footsteps were silent on the soft ground. She peeked into the cave and saw the Shadow Beast lying down. Its hurt leg was stretched out, and there was a deep wound on it. Suddenly, the beast lifted its head and sniffed the air. Ayo froze. The creature's glowing eyes looked toward the entrance of the cave. She quickly ducked behind a rock. The beast growled, but didn't move. It seemed tired. Ayo took a deep breath. She thought of her family and the people in her village. She couldn't fail them. She picked up a sharp stick lying nearby and held it tightly. "Beast!" she shouted, stepping out from behind the rock. "I am here to stop you." The Shadow Beast roared, its deafening sound echoing through the jungle. It stood up, towering over Ayo. Its eyes burned with anger. But Ayo didn't run. She stood her ground, holding the stick like a spear. The beast charged at her, its claws slashing the air. Ayo jumped to the side just in time, the beast's claws missing her by inches. She rolled on the ground and quickly stood up. "You don't scare me!" she yelled, trying to distract it. The beast turned and lunged at her again. This time, Ayo used her torch to wave fire in its face. The beast roared and backed away. Afraid of the flames, Io noticed its limp slowed it down, and she began to feel a small hope. Maybe I can lead it away from the village, she thought. Ao started running, waving her torch and shouting to keep the beast's attention. The creature roared and chased after her, but its injured leg made it slower. She led the beast deeper into the jungle, away from her village. But soon, she reached a river. The water was wide and fast, and there was no bridge. She stopped, realizing she was trapped. The beast approached, growling low. Io could see the anger and pain in its glowing eyes. She held up her torch, ready to fight. "Leave my village alone," she shouted. "If you don't, I will stop you for good." The beast roared again and stepped closer. Suddenly, Io remembered the herbs her grandmother had taught her about. She reached into her bag and pulled out some leaves she had picked earlier. These leaves were known to calm wild animals. With shaking hands, Io crushed the leaves and threw them toward the beast. The smell filled the air. The creature stopped, sniffing. Its growls became softer. Io took a step closer, holding out more leaves. "I won't hurt you," she said softly. "You don't need to hurt us either." The beast sniffed the leaves and looked at her. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, the creature lowered its head. It was tired and in pain. Io realized the shadow beast wasn't evil. It was just a wounded animal trying to survive. She slowly reached out and placed the leaves on its injured leg. The beast didn't attack. Instead, it let out a soft, sad sound. From that day, the shadow beast never returned to the village. Io told the villagers what had happened, and they all worked together to leave food near the jungle for the beast, so it wouldn't have to attack again. Io became a hero. The people of the village told her story for generations, calling her the fearless girl who saved them.